Say the princess first. Then say Tega. Good morning,
Good
everybody.
morning,
How are you
Tega.
doing? So, which hot gist should I start from today? Okay, so that's how yesterday. That's how Ngozi Okobe, remember her, the midfielder that was dropped and didn't make it to the World Cup. So she was sitting on a space, you know, with one of my colleagues, and that's how she started breaking down the World Cup. Now, I always tell people this thing. Sometimes the choice is choosing between what is right and what is wise.
Mm.
And I can't argue with a lot of the things that she said. My biggest problem is that she said it. Because regardless of how you say it, nobody's going to look at it objectively and say, oh, you know what, she makes some sense. Especially when she was talking about Tony Payne, she was like, at some point she was tired and, she's not at that level yet. She didn't say
Yeah.
she's below par. She
Mm.
didn't say she didn't have a great World Cup. She said she's not at that
That
level
point,
yet.
yeah.
And I completely agree. Tony Payne is not at that level yet. She was like, there's some matches that she was watching and she was like, I would have done well in these matches. I said it twice when I was watching Nigeria Ireland. I was like, if Ngozi Okobe were here, we would have scored a goal. When we were one man up against England, I was like, if Ngozi Okobe were here, we would have scored a goal because creatively she's completely different. She
Yeah.
doesn't run as much as the Tony Paynes and the Ochebes, but she knows how to split defenses with passes. So she was right. However, the fact is, it wasn't Ngozi Okobe that was saying it.
Yeah, and then she wasn't selected to go.
No,
So
that's
it
my
will come
point.
from a
So
place
to
of
come for it, will always sound like it's a place of
pain.
bitterness.
Yes.
So it may have been right, but it was not wise. So you can imagine people coming for her.
Mm.
Anyway, so that was the biggest thing that happened yesterday. Then today, as I woke up this morning, I heard that the player that Chelsea was shopping for,
Mm.
that Liverpool just came in like an aristo, and they are going to buy this player.
The money is there.
Hi, this is paying me on their behalf. You mean that they were pricing this thing like crayfish in the market?
Yes.
80,000, 90,000.
Mm-hmm.
Liverpool just came and said, give me that thing for 110 million.
How much? And what the
And they are
check?
paying this money. And the boy will be doing medical today at Liverpool. Chelsea, I'm ashamed on your behalf.
And there's a
Anyway.
lesson to that. When you see what you
You
like,
get it.
get it.
Quickly.
Except you don't have the money.
No. Get it. Don't add that except you don't have the
Oh,
money.
all
Just
right.
get it. All right. So on the locker room today, we'll be talking football. We'll be talking the Premier League. We're talking the FIFA Women's World Cup, and also some updates on Tobi Amusan. But before that, Omas, tell us, how can we be a part of this show?
All right, to be part of the conversation inside the locker room on Smooth 98.1 FM this morning, you have to send us WhatsApp messages to 0809 4440981. The number once again is 0809 4440981. Now, for what the stories are like inside the locker room this morning, World Championships, Tobi Amusan is in provisional list amid AIU defense, as well as Medvedev reaches ATP Toronto quarters as rude upset. And then you also would find this one, England's James banned 2 games for stamp. And then also we find Parayulo, extra time strike pass Spain into the World Cup semis in the Women's World Cup. And then Pep Guardiola says repeating treble success will be impossible. More like saying lightning won't strike twice in a place this time around. Then Gundogan, among several yet to be registered ahead of the Barca's season debut. And Bayern reached deal with Spurs to sign Harry Kane, according to reports.
All right.
There is Real Madrid goalkeeper suffers anterior cruciate ligament injury.
Basically, ACL that could take him out. Usually, the recovery time is 8 months to a year. So it's pretty much out for, well, all of the season. People say most of the season, but I just leave it at all. If it comes back earlier, then we'll take it. Of course, it's also 31. That makes recovery time a little different than if
tissues are getting.
Yeah, if you have it when you're 24 or thereabout. But usually the recovery time is 8 months to a year. So maybe David De Gea has a job. Anyway,
out for the season. That's just indeed out for the season.
Let's just say out for the season. All right, let's start from the very first story. Good news for Tobi Amusan.
Ahead of the 2023 World Athletics Championship, World Women's 100-meter hurdle champion and record holder Tobi Amusan has been included in the official provisional list released by the World Athletics Body pending result of the AIU defense.
All right. So this was huge in the sense that what have you told them how they could be a part of the show?
Yes, I have, but but no harm in going back again. You can send us messages up to 0809 444 0981.
All right. So let's start with Tobi Amusan's story now. It was shocking, but it looked like welcome news because when Nigeria brought out the list of the representatives for team going to the World Championships, Tobi Amusan's name wasn't on that list, and everybody pretty much understood that her name was not on the list because she still had this investigation going on. The judgment had not come in, and the AIU has been they've been dragging their feet on this thing. I mean, considering that the World Championships are here, if somebody has successfully defended her case, come out with it. If they've not defended their case, come out with it. They don't leave us in limbo because World Championships are literally on the 28th.
Knocking on the door already.
Yeah, they are at the end of the month. So why don't you come up with these things? So Nigeria didn't put Tobi Amusan on their team list, only for us to go to the website and somebody saw her name was on the list pending the results. So it was looking like good news. I would say this though, the World Athletics Body we'll just put that name there, and if the result comes out and it's not favorable, they'll take it out. But we're very hopeful when we saw the name there because we're like, maybe they have inside knowledge that we don't have. Maybe they know something that we don't know. So we are hopeful that they will clear her of these charges because I mean, a clean athlete, world record holder, allow her to defend her championship, and let's see how it pans out for her. But yeah, that news was going around. I just wanted to explain that the fact that her name was on their list doesn't necessarily mean that the case is closed. It just makes us hopeful.
It's better to have a name there than to need her not have a name there.
So exactly. So I understand why Nigeria didn't put her name there. It's different. But the World Athletics Body put her name on their list provisionally. So we all felt like, okay, maybe there's good news coming, and I'm going to be hopeful. I think there'll be good news coming because she's a clean athlete. Let her race.
From the track, we head to the court. Medvedev reaches ATP Toronto quarters as rude upset. Dani Medvedev at court mastery continued on Thursday with a 6-4, 6-4 victory over Lorenzo Musetti at the ATP Toronto Masters. That's what we see here.
Okay, all right. So in Toronto, it has been mad. The upsets in Toronto have been crazy. I think the day before yesterday, it was Andrew Rublev was beaten in straight sets by McDonald. Well, like, okay, that's just one upset. While we're trying to recover from that one,
yes,
Tsitsipas lost straight sets too. We're like, okay, maybe he too is having a bad day at the office. As we're about to sit up from that one,
Kasper.
Sasha Zverev was knocked out. We're like, okay, Toronto, you're running wild. We thought we were all right, that the upsets were over, everything has gone back to normal. Then Kasper Ruud was knocked out. And at this point, I'm just like, you know what? Whoever wins will take it like that and knock out anybody. So yeah, it's been a crazy one in Toronto. A few players have complained about the wind. So the question is, how well can you play in the wind? Now, Daniel Medvedev is one of the, in fact, in this season, he has the highest number of wins on hard court. Has lost to only 3 people on hard court this season. That would be, of course, Novak Djokovic, Carlos Alcaraz. That's world number 1 and 2, so it's understandable. And then Sebastian Korda in Australian Open, but he has one of the best records on hard court, and he's one of the best hard court players, and that's his favorite surface. So he comes up against this tricky guy called Musetti, and Musetti had played brilliantly up until this moment, so it was looking like it was going to be a great one, but Musetti could not just adjust to the weather conditions. Daniel adjusted a lot better, and of course on a normal day you expect Daniel to defeat a 19th place Musetti, but the wind made it an even easier match for Daniel Musetti. So he's through to the next round. Then Carlos Alcaraz comes in, and he was almost turned out of the Toronto. Almost did a good number on Carlos Alcaraz, but he was able to recover against Hubert Hurkacz, and he's through to the quarterfinals. On the women's side, Iga Swiatek struggled yesterday against Caroline Mukova, but she did manage to recover after the rain had fallen. The women are playing in Montreal. The men are in Toronto. So there was no rain in Toronto, but there was a lot of rain in Montreal. So they had a rain delay, and then she came out and she won her match. Coco Gauff also defeated Vondrousova, who is Wimbledon champion, 6-love in the second set. So she's also through to the next round. So interesting one to see. But this is basically about keeping positions, because if Iga Swiatek would have lost yesterday, and Sabalenka won, then she would have lost her number one ranking to Sabalenka.
But in all of this, this is a build-up towards the U.S. Open,
Yes.
is it?
So this is the build-up towards the U.S. Open, but there is Canada and then there is Cincinnati. Those are 1,000 masters. So again, you also remember there may be build up to the US Open, but there's also the build up to the end of year championships where the top 8 ranked players go to play. So if you can gather as much as 1,000 points, that's a lot.
The Serbian is missing in all of this. What's happening?
Oh no, he's at that age where he can pick and choose which tournament he goes to. Yes.
Okay, that's what it is.
That's what it is.
All right, so England's James banned 2 games for stamp. That's England forward Lauren James received a 2-match ban from FIFA on Thursday for the stamp on Nigerian Michelle Alozie that earned a red card in the Women's World Cup last 16.
All right, so there was a lot of drama when this news came out, because Nigeria's Deborah Abiodun, remember, picked up a red card in the first match. FIFA reviewed it and gave her a 3-match ban. Now, Lauren James picks up this red card in her own match against Michelle Alozie. I'm waiting for FIFA to review it. Only for FIFA to come back and say it is a 2-match ban. Now, remember what I was saying, that that's how you have to do things. So let's judge it by what they claim happened. So for the Deborah Abiodun stamp, they said it was violent conduct. Now you have to remember, there was the ball. Deborah Abiodun tackled the player, but she tackled the player recklessly. So she went in for a tackle. I thought that she just needed to escort the player. She didn't need to slide into that tackle. But youthful exuberance, she slid into the tackle. They said it was violence, but she was going for a ball and she got a player. They said it was violent conduct. I was like, Now, Lauren James.
Decent. This was decent.
Lauren James' own was that Michelle Alozie was on the floor. Both of them had gotten tangled. They fell on the floor. Then Lauren James stood up and decided that she was going to test the quality of Michelle Alozie's backside, whether it was follow-come or it was acquired.
Or it was Brazilian.
Whatever it was, she decided to step on it. They were not challenging for any ball.
Yeah.
They were not challenging for any position.
No.
This was one person deciding to stand up with her mind and just step on another human being. Now, FIFA says Deborah's own was violent conduct, but she was involved in a tackle. And they're now saying that Lauren James' own was serious foul play. And she was not involved. She was not involved in any tackle. She intentionally stamped on somebody. How is her own serious foul play not violent conduct?
You are judging even from the stamp. Before the stamp, there was the launching pad back. Before that,
I can even forgive the launching pad because you want to stand up.
Okay.
But you stood up and then you stamped on somebody. How is that serious? That's violent conduct. So again, I don't understand how FIFA took that judgment to make one violent conduct and one serious foul play. But for serious foul play, yes, you can get a 2-match ban if that's the offense. However, the offense was judged wrongly. That's my point.
So because they cannot afford not to have her if they qualify for the final. That's what it is. Because
FIFA is not an English team. I'm sorry. You can't take sides. You have to FIFA. So again, I will say this. Next time a Nigerian player gets a red card, let me tell you what people should do. People should write this pitiful story of how this is her first World Cup, of how she came through hard times in Nigeria. Fuel is 568. You have to write a sub story. Then put it out there. Then tell her to apologize and say she's sorry. Then put a picture of her crying. Drop of tape, and then put out a picture saying she's sorry. Then the federation itself, because the federation came out to speak for Lauren James, the federation itself should also speak on her behalf. Let's see whether it will work.
All right.
And we'll get serious foul places of violent conduct.
All right, Tega, we're due for a break, but just to let you know, you can be part of this conversation as it unfolds inside the locker room. Send your messages on to 0809-444-0981. We see messages from Ty already. Paulo Livingston is here.
Should we just read one message and then when we come back, so let's just read this message from Mr. Suji from Agor Palace.
Law of Karma.
Law of Karma. When Chelsea did it to Arsenal, Shebi they were jubilating. Let Modric play the wings for them now. All right, so we'll go on that quick break now. When we come back, we'll be talking more about the Premier League and the FIFA Women's World Cup. You're listening to Don't go anywhere. All right, so when we come back, we'll come back with this people's message.
Okay. Then we still have, we're still with the Women's World Cup.
Yeah, I'll just be going through it because we don't have enough time. But that PR worked for Lauren James. That PR really worked well for her. They came out to say she's not a player like that. She's so sorry. I was just like, Nigeria will not get sense. Yes, now, because that's what they did. Yes. You know, if you notice, immediately after she picked up that red card, the first person that came to apologize was the coach. Then the FA now, the English FA now released a statement. Yeah. Nigeria didn't do anything. We just forgot about it. Then we now heard that she was suspended for 3 matches. Then we now started complaining. They were proactive. They're like, what can we do? How can we trick this people?
Because now if they want to make sure she plays in the final.
Now they want to make sure that she plays before the end of the World Cup.
Yes.
Because for them it's not just she's instrumental to them. They're like, okay, even if we can manage to get to the final, let her play in the final. They also want the fact that they want their players to be amongst the player of the tournament. They need all those things.
Okay.
It's important for them.
How many goals is she on now?
She's on 3.
No wonder they set up.
They are rich. She's one of their best players.
Yes.
Don't get me wrong. She's one of the most fantastic players at this point.
And imagine if she was going to play in the next game.
Yeah, I love the girl. But that thing she did.
No.
No. They did good PR. Next time we said we will have sense. They've now released statements. She now released apology. Even if you go to their on the British website, they say how Lauren James is not that kind of. She's not just that. They'll not be taking from other people say no, she's not a dirty player. She's young. She's really young. She just lost life for a moment. I was like, is she 12?
All right. I see the point you are making. So we came here on 560 at full level.
Yes, we should have done our own PR.
Yeah, you just rub these things in a way that I forgot you want.
We should have done our PR. We didn't try. We would have done a full sub story. We would have gone to her village, taken her grandmother's house.
We are good to go.
We're back.
And we're back right inside the locker room on Smooth 98.1 FM. The Princess, Tega Onojiafe, is still here with me.
All right, so let's just come back with a few of your messages. This is from Paulo Livingstone. He says,
how can they give England defender 2-match ban for intentional and violent conduct? But our own Deborah is given 3-match ban for going for the ball. This is double standard by FIFA.
I've told you what to do.
Next up, Ifedayo from Isolo. Good morning, Super Tega and Omatseye. Let's have faith like mustard seed concerning Tobi Amusan. As for Liverpool hijacking Moses Caicedo deal from the reach of Chelsea, I will say it's payback for what Chelsea have done in the past.
Yes. So this is from Mohammed.
Tega, I beg, don't feel sorry for Chelsea. Thank God they dodged the bullet in buying another rubbish player from Brighton. Brighton as scam masters for Chelsea. Do you know how much Brighton made from Chelsea buying flop scam players and coaches from Brighton, from Cucurella that Chelsea is looking for buyers to Porter that was sacked? Haba. Look, I'm now Caicedo's wasn't worth 80 million.
I agree. Caicedo isn't worth 80 million, but you know how the market is crazy. Let's run through some
now,
of the stories.
We'll talk about the Spanish player here who was instrumental to teenager who was instrumental.
Okay, so let's even talk about how crazy this game was. So it was Spain versus the Netherlands. Both teams that like to play open football and be a little expressive. Now Spain started on the front foot. Especially the first time, they were creating chance after chance. They were just not taking them. Got to penalty, scored the penalty, and just when they thought, oh, we're going to win this game, the Dutch came up with a goal. in the last minute to break people's hearts. And it was the way she took it from one angle. She got the ball, sent it back to where she got it from. Goalkeeper was like, why this wickedness? This early hours of the morning.
Yes.
But the game goes into extra time, and now Netherlands are creating their own chances, and then Spain does to them what they did to Spain. And Spain scores this goal. And this girl has been looking for a goal. Just so you know, is the black lady on the Spanish team with the braids. You can't miss her. So you know how well she's been playing all through the tournament, and she's been looking for the game. And people were saying, and even the commentators was like, she usually scores a lot of goals. Unfortunately, she hadn't. She picked the early hours of this morning to score the most important goal of her life, and it turns out to be the winning goal for Spain. So Spain are in the semis of the World Cup, and at the start of the World Cup, I had them crashing out at the quarterfinals. Yeah.
So it seemed like they're building the momentum.
They're building it at the right time.
At the right time.
All right, so let's talk about today.
Pepe. That's Pep Guardiola here for us now. Pep Guardiola says repeating treble success will be impossible after what their performance was in the last season.
I want to say that he's playing mind games again, because you know Pep Guardiola, he comes to Pep conferences and he says beating Arsenal will be very hard. Then they'll go and beat Arsenal like 3-0. Beating Manchester United is tough, 5-1. So usually he does this, he makes all these statements before he actually gives you a thrashing. However, this time he's right. Repeating the treble would be tough, especially with all the craziness that's going on in the market now.
Yes.
And especially in UEFA, because it's a little hard to do back to back. The fact that Real Madrid was able to do it doesn't mean that it's easy to do. So it's a tough one, it's a hard one, but they're going for a fourth consecutive Premier League title. Now that one for me is not out of the reach of Manchester City. Regardless of which player has come and which player has gone, it's not out of the reach of Manchester City. I would say this, it will come down to the challengers that Manchester City has in England. And at this point in time, I don't know that any team is that stable to dislodge them yet. So let's see how it starts off. Manchester City kicks off the season against Burnley today. Coach of Burnley, former Manchester City player and captain. So right. One of Pepe's boys too. So remember how Burnley came up back into the Premier League from the ranks, and he completely changed that side. But when you come into the Premier League, it's a completely different kettle of fish. You have to play with pragmatism as much as you have to be physically there. So it'll be interesting to see how Burnley sets up. Before, you could tell that Burnley would sit deep and then they'll hit you on the counter or wait for a set piece to get a goal. But Burnley under Vison Company has changed. They now play football on the ground. They're full options kind of team. But so let's see if they will go toe-to-toe with Manchester City. That game is at 8 p.m. tonight. Manchester taking on Burnley. And from then on, we'll see how that goes. But before then, we want to ask, let's see our predictions this season. So you've seen the buys. Hopefully Liverpool will be able to conclude on Caicedo today. You've seen what Chelsea has done and then the injury to Nkunku. Who do you think can take Manchester City's crown of all the other teams in the Premier League? The numbers to send your messages to are
080944400981.
Yeah,
will be the number.
That's the number. Send me your WhatsApp messages. Who do you think can take Manchester City's crown? All right, let's take a message from here. From Emeka.
Yeah. Finally, the EPL is back. Another 10 months of inconsistent referee and VAR decisions. Let's go. Chelsea, first to do.
No, they pain. All right. So let's see. So we're taking those predictions. Who do you think?
Arsenal now.
Onojiafe said it's Arsenal now. He didn't waste time. He said it's Arsenal. Yemi said none.
Only City.
It's winning again.
Okay, let's see.
All right, so we're waiting on your messages. The numbers to send your messages to are
080944400981. WhatsApp messages.
All right.
Gondwan among several yet to be registered ahead of Barca's season debut.
All right, so again, remember last season, Barcelona eventually registered some of these players on the eve of the start of the season. And that today, Friday, would be that day that will be the eve. Barcelona officially has only 12 registered players. 12.
Oh my
they,
God.
they can fill the team, no substitutes.
Oh no. And 12, they have one, just one. That's
Um,
oh,
goalkeeper.
just one. Expect. So what happens?
So
Injury.
it's crazy, but yes, because of the fair play rules and all, they haven't been able to register all those players that you heard. Oh, move to Barcelona, move to Barcelona. They haven't been able to officially register them because of the fair play rules. So I want to see the magic trick that they are going to be able to pull between now and their first match is on Sunday. I want to see the magic trick they'll be able to pull between now and 5 p.m. today, because
That's very risky, honestly. Leaving it to the last.
12 players. They will bring their academy players.
Anyway, Tega, this one waits for us. Bayern reached deal with Hotspur Spurs to sign Harry Kane, according to reports.
Crazy. So I think I don't know why Bayern did this. They left it really late because Premier League starts today. Like I said, Manchester City, Burnley kicks it off. Arsenal, Nottingham Forest at 12:30 tomorrow. So the season has pretty much started, but they left it till late because Harry Kane is now waiting for Tottenham to give him room to go for medicals in Bayern. Will they be able to buy a player before the season starts for replacement? Well, they have the money. Whether they have the options is what we are waiting to see. But it's a tough one to have that now. All right.
And that's let's quickly close it up and then go to the messages of this morning. Real Madrid goalkeeper suffers the anterior cruciate ligament injury.
Yeah, so we heard this news yesterday, and already people were saying maybe that printer, or was it printer or whatever, that was supposed to send the letter for the transfer is going to eventually come through for David De Gea. The good news is he's already left Manchester City, so his bags are packed. Okay. If Real Madrid is looking for an emergency goalkeeper, that they won't have any force to be checking about what price or what not price, then David De Gea is available.
And when these players move like this, I know that the setting Maguire, the way he's going to move now to one of the, is this how people just fall from grace this way?
If you fall into Real Madrid, you're not falling. You are elevating. All right, so let's take all those messages.
Let's begin with Yemi. Yemi says you wanted
Yemi. Oh, Yemi has already said Man City.
Okay, Neumont here. Neumont, good morning, honorables. I am happy the PL, that's Premier League, starts tonight. Liverpool will challenge for the title. In my opinion, they have the scariest attack in PL. Lauren James shouldn't be playing in this year's FIFA World Cup.
And he gives his top 4 for the Premier League. He says Manchester City to win the league again. Then Liverpool will come in second. Then Arsenal will be third. Then Manchester United will be fourth. Wow.
I'm going to be at everyone.
All right.
Ladele J says, as an Arsenal fan, I want us to win. But if City get Paqueta and Mitoma, it would be a tough one. Liverpool might come in third, and with Newcastle or United following up.
Wow. So no Manchester United in your own site. This message says, okay, his name is Doye from Aja. He says, it's Arsenal. There's no question about it. Victor from Aja says,
okay, top of the day to you, locker room crew. It's between Arsenal and Liverpool. Victor from Aja.
All right. So
Tayo
says, with Harry Kane gone, I pity Son because uneasy lies the head of the new striker. And Maiwa says, according to Fabrizio, Harry Kane is already on his way for medicals now. Okay, yeah, because he was waiting for that to go to medicals. So if he's on his way right now, that's good. I want to thank every single one of you. We're out of time for sending in messages. I want to say thank you to all of those watching on Monday morning. I want to hear the wickedest of banters when we come in the morning. Till then, enjoy your weekend of European football. We'll be back on Monday.
Tega, thank you so much for being part of the locker room this morning. My name is Omatseye Atsenuwa. I'll talk to you in about 15 minutes when it's time for Lagos Talks. Good morning.